Hello guys and welcome back to another video. Today I'll be going over the new Sherman Hill article. This is the first one, so let's get into it. Trains and Well 2, Building Sherman Hill. I'm sorry I haven't done a news video in a while, but I'm starting this new thing called News of the Week. It'll basically be out on all Wednesdays. This is pre-recorded, so if there's something that is not included that released this week, I will most likely include it in next week's article video. Anyways, Building Sherman Hill. I can tell this route is really going to be a really amazing one. We spoke to Derek Siddle, art director at Dovetail Games, and found out more about how he and his team have created the famous Sherman Hill for Trains and Well 2. Sherman Hill is coming soon to Trains and Well 2, passing through the incredible landscape of the Rocky Mountains. It is one of the most popular landmarks of the Transcontinental Railroad amongst rail fans. To find out more about the creation of this magnificent upcoming route, we spoke to the art director, Derek Siddle. What has your involvement been like on this route? Derek says, my role really is to support the team creating the route and assets, as well as removing any barriers that are in their way. I see a brief and overview of the route, which includes a style guide that is what sets it apart from other routes. This includes the general look and feel of the route, its key areas, and what to look out for, as well as and challenges we may need to overcome. So here's another image. Intermodal train. It looks like we're getting single stack cars as well, along with new containers, which I'm really excited for. How does this route differ to ones you've built previously? Derek says, every route is different and the team needs to reset after each one, so a new look and feel can be adopted. This one feels very different due to the nature of the landscape. While it is mostly grasslands, there are a couple huge industrial areas. Some of the rockier areas of the route were challenged as it requires a slightly different mindset, but the team did a really fantastic job of capturing these areas. Where do you get your reference material from and how do you collect it? Derek says, we have been gathering reference material for this route for many years, and is a well-known route by quite a few here at Dovetail Games. However, like most routes, gathering reference material involves a wide variety of searches, from looking through my own library of images, which is substantial after 16 years, close contacts, and a range of searches across the internet and social medias. Excuse me. So here's map data, Google Maps Art Technologies. This is what it looks like. I'll zoom in closer and not too much. Yeah, here's what it looks like. Looks pretty cool. Looks pretty hard to do that. Anyways, what challenges have you faced within creating the vast open landscapes? Derek says, one of the challenges for creating this landscape is the lack of towns and regular features. This location is also remote and hasn't got great coverage on Google Earth or Street View as you would imagine. What we made sure we did was to focus on on a few areas to really make sure we caught the essence of the environment in areas where roads cross the tracks, and then extrapolated that feeling out along the areas when coverage was not so good. This involved creating a vertical slice that was used for the team To keep constancy over very long distances, strong guidance is needed in routes like this when the reference material is not there to fall back on. Making sure terrain painting and asset placement conform to clear set of rules. More screenshots. Some of the large industries can be difficult to recreate. There is a real temptation to get lost in the detail. As you can imagine, something like an oil refinery can take years to recreate and contain hundreds of millions of polygons. The team worked their way through the various structures, highlighting some of the most useful components in buildings to make that best describe the areas, keep the workload manageable, and gameplay with the required FPS. What did you enjoy most about this route? Derek says, I enjoy the lovely, lonely vistas and peaceful driving experience. It is a wonderful and peaceful drive as you weave your way up and down the grades, taking in the amazing terrain. What features can player look out for as they're traveling across the route? Of course, the Cheyenne Yard and Roundhouse is fun, and is much closer to the areas we usually recreate, as well as the large quarry and refineries that loom into view once you have crossed the plains. The section either side of Hermosa Tunnel is also a favorite location for railfan enthusiasts in real life, so it is better documented with photographs than some other areas, which has also allowed us to study it in greater detail and produce an incredible final experience. Here's another intermodal train, more SD70s, and trailers. I can't wait to see the SD70s. They look amazing. However, for me, Dale Junction is where I think the most stunning vistas come into play. It has a very dominant rock formation, and it was key that we captured this area well. It needed a whole new set of assets and splines. We have not made anything like this or to this scale on any of our previous routes. Luckily, the artists involved nor the rocks. Join us tomorrow at Tuesday on November 16th. Nat and Matt will be discussing the latest roadmap. And stay up to date with Sherman Hill and everything on Train World too by following at Train World on Twitter and Facebook. We are done. On to the next article. And here are some screenshots that weren't in the article. The cab looks pretty accurate on the SD70 Ace. So, real quick, I'm guessing the rolling stock wheel will be getting our box cars and what looks to be reefer cars, weld cars, along with new containers like this white one, the blue one, and the gray, and like the tannish one, along with single stacks and coal cars. I'm pretty sure there will be more than this though. Anyways, on to the next article. This was also revealed in the roadmap stream or something last week. Also forgot to mention that the season ticket for Rush Hour is now off sale. It went off sale about 4 days ago, I'm pretty sure. Here we are with the next article, called the G6 Developer Interview. Alrighty, this locomotive looks amazingly good. This is for Ryan Royston, as you can tell. This is a shunter locomotive cell. We sit down with Train Sim Germany to find out more about the upcoming G6 locomotive for Ryan Royston. Coming soon to Train Sim L2, the DBG6 diesel shunter is a unique diesel hydraulic shunter with unconventional dynamic braking. To find out more about this new addition to the sim, we spoke to Make from I hope I'm saying that right, from Trainsim, Germany. Tell us about TSG. My name is Make. I hope I'm saying that name right. And I'm the head behind the Trainsim Germany, TSG. I've been working for about 10 years in the train simulation franchise. Most of you may know me as the technical developer of Virtual Railroads Expert Line add-on for Train Simulator. I left Virtual Railroads a few years ago with the target of developing for Train Sim World, which is where I created TSG. It was a long process to learn how the Train Sim World environment worked, what I could do with it, and I already had my hands on different Train Sim World add-ons. As some of you may know, my goal while developing is always to do it different, more precise, and more deeply in some technical details. Here's the G6 working the intermodal facility. Why did you pick the G6 to make? There are multiple answers for that question. The first being for bringing the G6 to Train Sim World 2 is that I've already made it for Train Simulator years ago, and therefore already gathered the needed information and other sources to make it happen. The second reason, especially for Train Sim World 2, was even that with the complex development it involves a single tiny locomotive would be a good start of making multi-platform content than maybe a huge multiple unit train. The other reason is that I really do like this little modern shunter. The G6 has its own character with its modular boxy shape, plus it isn't red like all the other modern boxes in Germany. What makes this locomotive unique? It is indeed unique compared to lots of other locomotives around in Germany. It is a new modern modular concept with lots of different configurations available. It is almost like a huge locomotive family. The G6 itself is the smallest version of them, and bringing lots of modern and economical features with it in the real world. In TSW2, the unique features are primarily the driving controls or the dual mode cruise control. It has 2 gears, 4 converter fluid transmission drives, which is the most unique thing in the G6. Most of their locomotives with hydraulic braking use a retarder for it. Not so the G6, it has 2 converters for each direction and respectively uses the opposite pair of converters to brake. When using the hydrodynamic brake, that implies an inverted and not expected speed related brake force output. In short, it brakes harder the slower you get. That makes it challenging. The cruise control lets you hold a pre-selected speed between 3 and 11 kilometers per hour. In the shunting gear, or in the second gear, acts as a typical cruise control, where it maintains the actual drive speed when above 11 kilometers per hour. Here's the G6 cab. What kind of driving experience can the players look forward to? I tried to replicate the characteristics of this locomotive as close as possible. A lot of work went into the simulation inside of it in the Simograph. I would say it behaves almost like the real one, especially using the hydrodynamic brake, which is quite a lot of fun, but also needs some practice to master. The high and large double-desk cabin gives a nice immersive feeling and a good overview with its nearly all-window cab. Sound-wise, I have used mostly original recorded sounds from the real G6, and that brings the correct audible experience to the player. Where did you look for research before building the G6? This was a lengthy project that started years ago. Back then, we were fortunate enough to have access to the locomotive, so we were able to take audio recordings and lots of reference images. The technical research was done by gathering documents and information about how the G6 works. from many different sources. It took some time to get the idea about that fluid transmission, so I wanted to improve the G6 in Train Sim 2 over Train Simulator. So I did a lot of research on that specific hydraulic drive. Here's another image of it with its taillights on. What was the most challenging part while developing the G6? That was definitely the fluid transmission in combination with the dual mode cruise control. Bringing this system to life with the Simograph took a lot of work. I had driven the locomotive for more than 1,000 kilometers on my test track to make sure the fluid transmission behaves in the right way. You can imagine that this took weeks of patience while working it out and testing it. The process of creating the G6 was tough, with a lot of trial and error. Myself and the 3D artist for this project had lots of fun making the exterior model to be ready for the limited livery designer usage. I've enjoyed learning and working with Train Sim 2 tools, and I've already gained a lot of experience. Here he is working in another industry. What kind of services and scenarios can the player expect to get for Rhine Roastin'? The G6 is mainly a workhorse for local light shunting duties in freight and passenger yards, but also suitable for light freight services along the main lines and branch lines. It is also used often with the bigger industries with their distinct siding tracks. In TSW2, the services and scenarios are spread into shunting and mainline work. You will do wagon sorting jobs as well as rescuing trains or delivering wagons to specific stations and sidings. I wanted to make sure that we had a variety of gameplay that included shunting, some mainline work, and a special service. The same counts for the service mode timetable on the route. It provides a mixture of duties over the day with quite special service included. Any tips for players on driving the G6 for the first time? Be patient when driving it. Those 6 levers are no rudders. It needs a good portion of predictive driving style, especially when using the hydrodynamic brake on heavier trains. The brake needs some practice to master due to its unconventional behavior. The pneumatic train brake is also not conventional or precise as you expect. Play the tutorial first, and always wear your hard hat when working outside the G6. Safety first. Stay up to date with the G6, diesel, shunt kit, and everything on Train Sim 2 by following @TrainSimWorld on Twitter and Facebook. Let's go to the next article. So we are on the new article for Train Simulator, 2 eras on Tehachapi. As you can see, there is Santa Fe and Southern Pacific included in this pack. Coming soon, the Tehachapi Pass Scenario Pack 1 will be bringing the vivid life of all the action of 2 glorious eras and 4 railroads. Treacherous Tehachapi. Spun over and through the daunting Tehachapi Mountains of California, the Tehachapi Pass was constructed by the Southern Pacific, opened in 1876, and connects the arid Mojave Desert with California's fertile San Juan Valley. In 1899, via trackage rights arrangement, the Santa Fe Railway, AT&SF, also began operations on the Tehachapi Pass. In the 1990s, SP merged into the UP, and Santa Fe merged with BN to form BNSF. And today the route is UP's bustling Mojave subdivision, and it's a heavy tonnage artery for both UP and BNSF. Coming soon from High Iron's Train Simulations, Tehachapi Pass Scenario Pack 1 will bring 2 eras and 4 legendary railroads atop the famed mountains of California. Tehachapi Pass Scenario Pack 1 will feature 10 authentic career scenarios, with 5 scenarios representing operations during the SP's Santa Fe eras of the 1980s and 90s, and 5 scenarios recreating contemporary UP and BNSF railroading. With the upcoming Tehachapi Pass scenario pack, you'll tackle everything from hot intermodal trains to the heaviest trains ever to cross the Tehachapi Mountains. You'll climb aboard the diesels as diverse as Santa Fe's flashy Warbonnet GE-8s, classic EMD F45 cowboy units, SP's distinctive SD45T-2s, and GE U33Cs, the UP's potent GE AC4400s, and BNSF Burley Gevos. Among the experiences that will await you in 10 career scenarios of Tehachapi Pass Scenario Pack 1 are high-volume priority intermodals such as Santa Fe's Train 991 and UP Hotshot I-5 corridor stack and piggyback train. Dragging extraordinarily ponderous tonnage including SP's fabled oil cans, a Santa Fe coal train, and BNSF ethanol consists over the 2.2% grades of Tehachapi. Many of these heavy trains feature locomotives on the point, placed mid-train, and on the rear. Working locals such as the SP and UP trains handling cement traffic off the UP's Oak Creek branch, or originating at the massive monolith cement plant. Answering the call to work UP's morning switch job at Mojave, known for creating realistic scenarios, high iron simulations, and its scenario pack will deliver big-time, rugged, and demanding American Western railroading, and 10 scenarios closely based off on actual operations and train symbols of the two eras. Note that the Tehachapi Pass scenario pack will require the Tehachapi Pass route. Select scenarios also will require the Montana High Line, the Arizona Divide, Southern Pacific SD45T-2 loco add-on, and SPU 33C locomotive add-on. Tehachapi Pass Scenario Pack will be available worldwide. Due to licensing restrictions, Santa Fe and BNSF markings will only appear on content distributed to the U.S. customers. Get ready to throttle in battle tonnage and treacherous Tehachapi with the 10 action-packed and realistic career scenarios of the upcoming Tehachapi Pass Scenario Pack. So here are some picture descriptions, I'm guessing. Coming soon from High Iron Simulations, Tehachapi Pass Scenario Pack 1 and its 10 scenarios will bring life to 2 eras and 4 railroads atop the legendary California Mountain Route. Featured railroads include SP and Santa Fe. Article lead photo. And UP and BNSF above. Screenshots by Carrie Dosel. Here we got a UP intermodal and an unknown BNSF train. Renowned as one of Santa Fe's fastest and hottest intermodals, Santa Fe Train 991 hustles through Edison, California, behind flashy Warbonnets -8s in the 2-part scenario, Santa Fe 991. The 10 scenarios of upcoming Tehachapi Pass Scenario Pack 1 are closely based on actual operations and train symbols of the 2 featured eras. Here is the picture. 5-hit engine-led train. Looks like there's a caboose or rear train DPU back there. Contemporary UP intermodal action enlivens the scene at famed Cliff as a UP I-5 corridor intermodal as UP GE AC4400 CW7118 on the point. The upcoming Tehachapi Pass scenario pack will put you at the throttle of 7 types of locomotives. Amongst the heaviest trains ever to cross the Tehachapi Mountains were Southern Pacific's legendary oil can trains, climbing the Caliente Horseshoe. An eastbound oil can train has SP's rugged GE U33Cs on point, mid-train, and on the rear. There's another one down there as well. Or is that... No, wait, never mind. Those are the rear DPUs right down there. And then the mid-train might be around there somewhere. No less ponderous than SP's oil can trains of yesteryear are BNSF's modern and massive ethanol unit trains, with BNSF ES44 DC 7218 on the point. An ethanol train passes a freight as it descends the west slope of the mountains above, then while long wraps itself around the famed Tehachapi Loop below. So there's the engines at the front, I'm guessing. I'm guessing they're about to come to a stop because there's an intermodal train right here. Then we wrap around and we got the mid-train DPUs right here. Ooh, I can't wait to drive these. I don't have the rear add-ons yet though, but these look amazing. In Tehachapi Pass Scenario Pack 1, you'll be facing the challenge of moving more heavy tonnage over the famed line in the form of a Santa Fe unit coal train. With a classic ATNSF EMD F45 on the head end, a Santa Fe coal train makes its way around the loop. So I'm guessing these are, here we got F45 5983 leading, another F45, and 2 SD40s. Throughout the decades, the sprawling cement train at the sprawling cement plant at Monolith, California, has been a beehive of railroading action. In the scenario Tehachapi Turn, a duo of SP's distinctive EMD SD45 T-2s are working the plant above, while on a foggy day, a trio of UPGEs make a pull from the plant as an eastbound BNSF freight growls past below. In the US, like me, I will have the lettering, just not anyone else. I'm pretty sure Canada might have it, maybe? Not sure. Yard and line side switching duties are at the task at hand as you work the warning UP switch job at Mojave with a duo of veteran UP EMD GP40-2s as power. UP cement and intermodal trains meet on every busy Tehachapi Pass. Get ready to take the throttle and battle tonnage and treacherous Tehachapi with the 10 action-packed and realistic career scenarios of the upcoming scenario pack for Tehachapi Pass. Now we go on to the next article if there's another one, but I don't think there is, so let's move on to stuff for Roblox. I know it doesn't say it here, but there is a revamp coming to Tri-Rail soon. So yeah, it said in the news in the game when I joined it. So yeah, they'll probably say something within the next few weeks of it happening. So yeah. Anyways, let's move on to Brightline. So, just so you all understand, they are purposely sticking with more simple scenery on Brightline to aim more towards mobile and really bad devices, since Metra is unplayable for some. Basically meaning they're trying to make it playable for some. And they had a poll, so obviously A won. So yeah. They're doing Miami to West Palm Beach, and then after the release, they will expand to Orlando in Phase 2. So here's an old versus a new one. New versus old. So yeah. Also Brightline resume service. So yeah. For Metra, they just had a major update. So, not what I wanted to do. Okay, whoopsies. So we can go here. What was it that we could go? So yeah, there you go. So a quick update real quick, starting the massive channel of Metra. They have switch indications, like where there's a switch ahead. So, yeah. This was a teaser for Chargers. This is a cursed train. This is a cursed train that they've done. Sorry about the very laggy video. This is just a cursed train. This wasn't the actual thing. Oh my god! Look at it! Look at it! Look at it! Oh my god! And I don't even know what the heck that was. Now here are the real Chargers. Obviously you can see Brightline behind these. And as you can see, there is a real difference between them. More Charger progress. Here's the paints, the final paint for it. This is the Amtrak Midwest scheme. If you're wondering what the thing here says, like the destination board, that says Railway Engineering Studios. Another meme. Some static scenery outside of Chicago. Looks really cool. This is the first ever consist they made of it. You got marker lights for it and whatnot. This is an Amtrak Midwest service. Here's a horn for it. Hopefully the video cooperates. Hang on. As you can hear, that it sounds really realistic, like to real life. The first Charger consist is now live, by the way. They have a new image here. And they so yeah. So here's another Amtrak Midwest consist. The consist includes a Charger, an Amfleet Cafe car, 2 Horizons, and an Amfleet coach car. Here's the consist. As you can see, it also has a P42DC. So P42DC, coach car, 2 Horizons, a cafe car, and a Charger. They are making Amfleet ones, by the way. So they just had an update 2 days ago. They added more charger trains and fixes. A new grain train that has a DPU. Automatic switching routing for freight trains and some passenger trains and more. And yeah. And something just came out for Brightline. They might open the Brightline project once they hit 1 million visits. So go make it happen, people. Even though it most likely won't happen. But I don't know. Just make it happen. Just get them to 1 million visits. And I think that is it. So let's move on to other stuff. So this is the new MBTA game that has been in progress for a couple months now. But they touched up the bi-level cab car to make it more realistic. Here's some progress to Providence. The new cab car in action. Obviously, this game is not released, by the way, yet. More progress to Providence. Custom graffiti. And more progress to Providence. Even more custom graffiti. And the last pick of progress to Providence. So, yeah, this is all they had this week so far. So, let's go on to Northeast Corridor / Empire Corridor. So, the original server was deleted for the American Rail Studios server, sadly, due to the owner getting hacked. But, yeah. He made another account, so he made another server. So here is the Hudson Line, by the way. This is the Hudson Line / Empire Corridor with Metrolink, Metro North trains and Amtrak Empire services, and a portion of the Lakeshore Limited. I think they're adding CSX to this too. So yeah, here's an amazing screenshot with the Metro North M7 EMU and the river next to it. More images of the same location, I'm assuming. A little line at the station. Phillips Mansour, or whatever the heck the station is called. Scarborough's progress. And as you can see, there's a random floating Empire service over there. And your first public release of ECTS will happen once we have a polished stretch of track and scenery between Groton and Terrytown. So the AM7 has a new train known as Three Rivers. Got an AM7, an original Phase 5 baggage car, Phase 4 Viewliner, Horizon Cafe, Horizon Coach, 2 Amfleet coaches, and what looks to be 3 Amtrak material handling cars. And the scaling has been fixed, by the way, a couple days ago. So that's everything, I'm pretty sure. Let's move on to the SEPTA. Here's some SEPTA R1LA progress. This is going to be used on maintenance of way trains. The maintenance of way trains will be a game pass, by the way. They have updated the crossings for the game. Realistic fading lights, by the way. Just some fading lights and just updated the crossings, basically all of them. Crossing progress. This is one of the most trickiest crossings they've done. And they replaced the SEPTA logo and wording with the newer variant on the Silverliner 4s. And that is it, basically, I think. So let's move on. Now on to Chillicothe sub. We got the BC Rail update for Chillicothe. This is what is included. This is added to the Canadian Power Game Pass, by the way. BC Rail C30-7, BC Rails B30-7, BC Rail C44-9W, and free trains, HLCXS BC Rail SD40-2, and the BC Rail SD40-2. Cosmetic changes, they removed the thunderclouds, and yeah. Some teasers on upcoming trains. What this looks to be is an SD60 or 70M. This is a HLCX BC Rail SD40. This is the Dash 9, by the way. There's progress on the Dash 9. 8781 is now in the game, by the way, for Chillicothe. C44-9 WLs are also in the game. And more Dash 9 picks. Pretty sure this is all. So let's move on to A and G. There's nothing, so let's move on. So there has been a new implemented system, and I guessed it, so I get a free game pass. In development was a loading system including points, which I guessed, and locomotive purchases with the points and money that you can make. Here's some development. This is before the major detailing starts. This is Bankruptcy Blue, by the way. A trailer flatbed sort of randomizer thing. A KCS Grey Ghost locomotive, part of the Oregon Power Game Pass. Auto frame cars. Auto rack randomizers. The spine cars have been updated to 3 and 5 sets. And yeah. Anyways, on to the next game. This is Stepford County Railway. Here is what looks to be a new station. So yeah. Here's another station and maybe a new train. Another sneak peek what looks to be Leighton Stepford Road. So yeah, nothing really happening recently, sadly, because most of the team have been away and whatnot. So yeah. Anyways, on to the next one, I believe, if there's anything else. This is Greenville, so it looks to be an Audi SUV. What is this? The Audi Q7. Looks pretty nice. The really unique turn signals are going to be included for it. And last but not least, the Hyundai Sonata remodel. Right? Yeah, remodel. And there's another ping, so I'm gonna check it out real quick. Anyways, that was just something from my friends. So that is it for this Wednesday whatever the heck I called it earlier, midweek news or whatever. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But yeah. Anyways, if you guys did enjoy, make sure to give this video a like, along with maybe subscribing to the channel. If you do, you'll become part of the awesome squad and first 1,000 subscribers club. Also, if you don't want to miss out on any future uploads, make sure to turn on post notifications to be notified of a future post. Anyways, I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.